in case you are listening this voice for the very first time, you can go check out my social media handles. And this is season 4 of Stuti Speaks. So after like too much of love on 3 and 2, I am back with season 4. And thank you for everyone who supported me. There are many people, I don't want to take the names, but I totally am grateful to each one of you who helped me with season 2 and season 3. So as I said, we are in season 4 and I have my first guest with me whose name is Samit Gambhir. So थोड़ा सा ना बैकग्राउंड में जाते हैं how I met Samit. सो मैं स्पॉटिफाई फॉर पॉडकास्टर्स के शो पे थी एंड मी एंड माय फ्रेंड दे वर देयर. सो हम बेसिकली बहुत भूख लगी थी क्योंकि हमारा लाइक बहुत देर से हम ट्रेन पे थे एंड बहुत भूख
राइट।
लगी थी. एंड वी वर एट वी थॉट कि ये जो खाने वाली जगह है ना, यहाँ से जो बंदा एंटर कर रहा है ना, यहीं पे
हाँ,
खड़े हो जाते हैं सो दैट.
जहाँ से सारे के सारे
यस.
वेटर्स लेके निकल रहे थे ट्रेस। एंड
ट्रेस.
there's no real food, by the way. Let me paint a picture. As an actor,
या
let me paint a picture for everyone. There's
या
no real food at the event. There's just थोड़े थोड़े से वो क्या कहते हैं, चखना था सारी जगह पे. And there were drinks, but there were chakna, and there's just little snacks, थोड़ा पनीर टिक्का, this and that. But there's so many people. मतलब सोचो पैर रखने की जगह नहीं है, it's drenched सारी जगह पे कीचड़ विचड़. So there's just one section जहाँ पे सारे खड़े हैं.
यस
एंड कोई भी प्लेट में आपको खाना दिखता ही नहीं है. आप जगह जगह आधे घंटे से ढूंढ रहे हैं. दिस इज हैपनिंग विद एवरीवन. हमें समझ नहीं आ रहा है खाना खा कौन गया है सारा.
यस
तो
यस
हमने क्या किया, मैंने और 2-3 लड़कों ने, हम लोग वहां जाके खड़े हो गए कोने में जहां से सारे वेटर्स निकल रहे थे ट्रेज लेके. और हमने एक एक करके पकड़ने शुरू किए कि भाई ये ट्रे यहाँ छोड़ जा. तो उनको उनके मैनेजर से डांट तक पड़ने लगी कि ऐसा मत करो कि 6 लोग मिलकर सारा खाना खा रहे हैं. फिर
एग्जैक्टली.
स्तुति और इनकी 2 फ्रेंड्स ने हमें ज्वाइन किया. वहां पर हम मिले और
हाँ.
हम लोगों ने साथ में स्नैक्स को पेला अच्छे से.
नहीं तो एग्जैक्टली थोड़ा-सा मैं ऐड करती हूँ ना मसाला इसमें। उसमें ये हुआ था कि आई सेड द सेम थिंग टू निधि माय फ्रेंड कि ऐसा करते हैं यार, यहीं पे खड़े हो जाते हैं क्योंकि कुछ मिल जाएगा। देन यू सेड कि
हाँ,
हम भी इसीलिए खड़े हैं एंड
इसीलिए खड़े थे,
द
राइट.
कॉमन थिंग बिटवीन यू एंड मी वर लाइक निधि आल्सो दैट वी डोंट ड्रिंक एंड वी वर
हाँ,
वेजिटेरियंस। तो हमारा ये कॉमन
राइट,
फैक्टर था, दैट्स वेयर वी वाइब्ड ऑन कि यार ना हम ड्रिंक भी नहीं करते
राइट.
और हम नॉन-वेज भी नहीं खाते एंड एवरी वेज फूड की क्वांटिटी भी काफ़ी कम थी.
हाँ.
So that's where we vibed on. And then I got to know
हम्म.
that you get crashed the event. You were not a podcaster. You were an
राइट.
actor. And that's how we
या.
vibed more. And like we, I think, connected there. And then I told you that I want to invite you on my podcast. And that's where the story
हम्म.
started. So I
हम्म.
came back and I researched on your profile. I saw that you are doing a lot. Also, you have a YouTube channel. I like your shorts, by the way.
हम्म.
And specifically वो शॉट्स मैंने देखा था जहाँ पे you said that you get crashed the podcaster event by because your
राइट.
sister was to like your sister is a podcaster I think, and that's how you
राइट.
came there.
शी इज,
And
यस.
you thought के it's a good chance यार, यहाँ तो मुझे भी होना चाहिए, right? And you get crashed a podcaster event being an actor. So let's now get back to you. आप बताओ अपने बारे में, who are you and like what all you have done, your journey.
ओके, सो आई एम बेसिकली माय जर्नी. मेरी जर्नी शुरू होती है 90s में. अगर मैं करूं, पर नहीं. आई स्टार्टेड लाइक आई थिंक really first time I was on stage was probably when I was in first class, but obviously that doesn't really count because हमारी जो फर्स्ट क्लास की मेमोरी होती है वो इतनी ज्यादा स्ट्रांग नहीं होती है. सो आई डोंट वांट टू ब्रैग इट लाइक कि मैं पहली कक्षा से मैं अभिनय की तरफ खिंचा चला जा रहा हूँ, मगर बोलने में अच्छा लगता है. किसी दिन कॉफी विद करण पे बोल के मजा आएगा. बट
Manifesting coffee with Karan. Yeah.
बट हाँ, नहीं, आई थिंक दिस हैज बीन समथिंग दैट आई हैव सीन कि ये इनग्रेन्ड रही है मेरे अंदर, टू बी एबल टू टेल अ स्टोरी और टू बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट अ स्टोरी contains, or what behavior is, what emotional empathy is, and all these things. But really, my first brush with stage was when I was in, I think probably 8th or 9th. I was 13 years old, and हमने प्ले किया था स्कूल में, अपने स्ट्रीट प्ले किया था. एंड वहां से नाटक करते करते 11th क्लास में मैंने फिर नाटक लिखा.
अच्छा.
उसके बाद फिर कॉलेज में आई वाज इन हंसराज. वहां पर मैंने और नाटक किया. सो आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई अंडरस्टूड वेरी अर्ली ऑन कि बिकॉज आई डू नॉट बिलोंग टू एनी एफ्लुएंट फैमिली, नो वन फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री, आई डोंट नो, मेरे दूर दूर तक कोई रिश्तेदार है नहीं. और तो मुझे जो है कि जस्ट बिकॉज आई लुक अ सर्टेन वे, और जो लोग सिर्फ सुन पा रहे हैं, देख नहीं पा रहे, you can search me on Instagram. Instagram
I
and
will
see
I will
what
mention all
what
details.
kind of certain way I look. So just because I look a certain way, that doesn't mean ki it will be easy. Initially, a huge influence on my life was obviously, like any good Indian, Shah Rukh Khan. So I used to watch a lot of his movies, and I used to love his, his vibe and the way he was presenting in himself. तो लगता था यार यही एक्टिंग है. बट समवेयर डीप डाउन आई ऑलरेडी न्यू कि यार अगर मैं भी वही करूंगा जो शाहरुख खान कर रहा है, देन obviously the world does not need another Shah Rukh Khan. Although we cannot have enough of him.
Yeah.
Although Aryan Khan exactly looks like him now, so world already has another one probably. But yeah, so I understood this very early on that I need to train myself. I need to be like better as an actor. I need to be able to perform and not just rely on my looks or my. I used to be told कि मेरी एक teacher थी, Madhuri ma'am, and I revere her a lot. I respect her a lot, and she used to say, and she used to call me Shamit, by the way, which is a very fascinating. She still calls me Shamit. I never correct her because I like it that way. It's a special memory. So she used to say कि, I mean, I don't want to sound pompous at all. I don't want to sound eccentric at all. But she used to say कि Samit तेरा तो सोने पे सुहागा है, तू देखने में भी अच्छा है, and you're smart as well. But I knew like this particular part. She used to tell me about the acting part कि acting में मत जा, क्योंकि acting के लिए जिंदगी पड़ी है तेरी. Like you can start when you're 40, 50 and as well. But we can नहीं यार. How could I just spend the rest of the 30 years of my life doing something else and then thinking कि यार अब मैं 40 की एज में शुरू कर लूं? That doesn't make sense to me. So I did not listen to anyone in that sense. But and my mother used to support me a lot throughout my journey. She always has. And there's this fascinating bit to it. When through my college, I was performing all over the place. I was performing through Delhi University theater circuit and everything, and we used to have these theater competitions. So I used to tell my mom to come and watch my play. I did several plays, so I'll tell about my journey as well as these little
Hmm.
stories in between.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did a lot of plays by then. I think I'd done about 10, 12 plays by then. I was part of Merchant of Venice, which is a William Shakespeare's play. And I love William Shakespeare, by the way. I love all his text. So I told my mom कि यार आप देखने आओ. And she told me कि the day you win best actor na, that is when I'll come. So I think it took me about 2, 3 months of performing over and over again. And because I was first year in college, so my senior never used to give me lead sort of. He used to take it for himself. So one of the areas, Iftida, jo Imtiaz Ali ka, he is the one
Yeah,
who
I know
started in
that.
Hindu College, and they
Yeah.
have their annual theater festival. वहां पे they did a very interesting thing. We could not present the plays we had already made, जो सबने बनाए थे, जिसमें मेरा senior lead था. They told us to make new plays, and this was my chance. And I told कि मेरे को इस बारी lead होना है because I had been after his life. So I finally got to play lead within my first year. And the first time I performed as a lead, I got the best actor. So that
Wow.
is the time my mom started coming to me, and it was a very nice incentive for me to strive for that. So she knew how to push me to
Okay.
better myself.
Hmm.
So all credits to her for that. And after I got done with that, I was in Merchant of Venice. As I told you, I did a couple of other शेक्सपियर पीसेस. मैंने काफी सारे मोनोलॉग्स प्रिपेयर किए थे शेक्सपियर के, जिसमें हैमलेट है, जिसमें रोमियो जूलियट है. सो आई हैड दिस होल बंच ऑफ स्टफ दैट आई हैड टू क्रिएट, and I went on to perform in New York and San Francisco with those
Wow.
pieces that I'd created. And obviously I knew ki my I want to get into films. I want to get on the screen. That was always the where I'm headed. So then I think one somehow I was part of I was working with Images Bazaar for a while, for a very, like a tiny bit of a second, and then they were creating a video there. So Sandeep Maheshwari,
Yeah, yeah. He's
who's
the
a
seed.
popular, yeah. So he created a sort of a interview, sort of a movie sort of situation in which they had depicted a story. So I auditioned for that, and that was my first time. And this is back in 2014.
Oh,
This is the first time I'm playing lead on camera. And right fresh coming out of theater, I got this and I was ecstatic about it. So that's where I met him, and I met him a couple of times after that as well. And it was fantastic experience. And that was my first dose of to experience how does it feel to be on a set. उससे पहले मैंने बहुत थोड़े थोड़े रोल किए थे. मैंने ऑल इंडिया रेडियो में भी काम किया कुछ टाइम. Just to I started working when I was 14. So
wow.
school में theater करता था. Then I used to go and record sessions in All India Radio.
Amazing.
Then for tuitions, this and that, all these things used to happen all the time. बट दैट वाज माय फर्स्ट स्क्रीन एक्सपीरियंस. उससे पहले बहुत पीछे के कहीं एक्स्ट्रा के कहीं पे जाके रोल किया था. मेरे को जब एक्स्ट्रा का मिलता था ना, आई न्यू आई वाज डूइंग दिस फॉर द मनी एंड जस्ट फॉर द एक्सपीरियंस टू बी ऑन द सेट. आई यूज्ड टू जस्ट ऑब्जर्व द एक्टर्स कि
Hmm.
सेट चल कैसे रहा है, एडी का काम क्या होता है, डीए का काम क्या होता है. मैं आई थिंक दिस वाज व्हेन आई वाज 16 or 17 years old. I was just on the
Nice.
set observing people.
Hmm.
And मेरे पे अगर कैमरा आने वाला होता था, आई न्यू कि अभी नहीं, आई हैव टू बी देयर, क्योंकि एक सर्टेन परसेप्शन होती है इंडस्ट्री की. आई यूज्ड टू जस्ट हाइड समवेयर. एंड बट इफ ऑब्वियसली इफ द डायरेक्टर यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि नहीं नहीं आप ही बोलो डायलॉग, देन आई यूज्ड टू परफॉर्म द बेस्ट आई कुड. So after that, after 2014, I did more plays. I kept on doing that. And then eventually in 2018, after giving, I don't know how many countless auditions in various places, there are so many casting directors all over the place. I finally got the series Breathe into the Shadows with Mayank
Hmm.
Sharma.
Hmm.
He's a renowned director now. And there's Abhishek Bachchan in that. And
Yeah.
there's Syami Kher in that, and there's the other very Amit Saad is there in that.
Yeah,
So I
Amit.
did a like a 3-4 episode ka mere usme, like there's a whole story based around my character. So that happened, and then the following that I got Tandav, which is another web series. So that's what's
Yeah.
been going on. That's pretty much my journey. As much
Okay.
as I'd like to indulge myself more into
Hmm.
speaking about myself, I after some time I just मेरे कान थोड़े से वो खुद हो जाते हैं यार कि मैं अपने बारे में इतना ना बोलूं बार बार.
Now I have
So
something. Yeah, I have lot to ask on
yeah,
this.
you
But
should ask me questions.
yeah, I
So
do
that's
have a
what's been
lot.
going on. Yes,
Yeah. So first of all, like Hansraj, I'm sure, agar if you're pass DU pass out, so you live in Delhi, right? So that's why you
I do.
got. So you must be having like good marks, obviously for sure, because Hansraj cut off
Mm.
to अच्छा जाता है. So like
Yeah,
being a so when you are that category of intellect being in school, so kaise you made up your mind to be an actor? Because when you are that level of I mean, are you able to understand what I'm asking? Basically, when you are
I do.
92, 93, 95% of person,
Mm.
then it's difficult.
92.75 to be exact.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to say it directly.
Yeah.
So basically, I can understand if you're that level of intellect. It's become tough because you have many more spheres what can be open
Mm.
for you as a person. Like
Yeah.
we live in India, and obviously it's tough to
Mm.
take that decision where you want to go ahead with something
Mm.
like which is different, right? So
Mm.
how much was that difficult for you being an good student, obviously?
मैं ना साथ में एक्चुअली आई डू नॉट रियली सब्सक्राइब टू द आइडिया ऑफ
Hmm.
सनसाइन एंड एवरीथिंग, बट इन दिस वन थिंग आई एम
Hmm.
वेरी टॉरी इन दैट वे. आई एम वेरी
Uh,
लाइक
okay.
अगर मैं किसी चीज का डिसीजन ले लिया, सो देन आई एम लाइक ऑन इट कंप्लीटली. सो दैट वे
Hmm.
एम वेरी टॉरी. एंड सो वंस आई हैड डिसाइडेड एंड मेरी जिद पकड़ ली थी मैंने. सो वहां पर लाइक देयर वाज नॉट certainly there was no like now I can look back and say very easily कि there was no looking back for me. But at the
Hmm.
same time, the thing is कि the doubts were always there. Like doubt have been there, and the वो doubt आपकी lifetime clear होते रहते हैं. The more you
Correct.
get better at what you're doing, so the
True.
more you get comfortable in what you're doing, and you realize कि हाँ ये चल रहा है, like this is working.
Huh.
And an actor's job is actually very fluctuating. That's the
Hmm.
reality of it.
True
Even
that.
the actors who are working consistently as leads, as like जो top के actors हैं, even they are trying to get the next work and the next work and the next work. So you will see that every actor who's been something also has something on the side.
True that.
So, but coming back to your question,
Hmm.
being of a certain intellect, why did I take that decision? Because I think I've always been थोड़ा सा जिद्दी कह लो, थोड़ा सा rebellious कह लो, या फिर I was just कि मुझे करना है because
I
I don't
would
know.
say I would reframe it following your heart kind of person where you are not being so
Yeah.
practical and then you're following your what you're
Yeah,
meant
yeah,
to
I think
do.
that's it. That's just it. Because practical words से मेरे को याद आया, and I was never in that mind frame कि यार ऐसे ऐसे करके कॉलेज में जाते हैं, ऐसे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, because my whole friend group went there, and that's how I like आपके जो वो होते हैं बदल जाते हैं आपके दोस्तों की जो आपकी जर्नी होती है. So
Hmm.
all of them went to engineering colleges.
Hmm.
And not that engineers haven't come into film industry. There are a lot of engineers right now working as directors and actors. But I knew from the get go कि यार मैं 3 साल 4 साल भी क्यों लगाऊं ना अपने किसी ऐसी चीज में जो मुझे करनी नहीं है. If I'm very clear, and I already had gotten an entry into a very good college which had a very good theater
Yeah.
group back then. So let me just do that. So
Hmm.
मैंने वही किया. But then eventually I understood the balance between practicality as well as this. But I would also advocate even right now to follow your heart, but also be a little practical about it and
Practical.
balance it.
And that's what you said,
Yeah,
that it's good for being actors or any creative person to keep doing something side by side, because you can't
yeah.
like just rely on one thing to do. Like obviously there will be
See,
gaps.
there are two things to it, यार. स्तुति,
Hmm.
इसमें चक्कर क्या है कि because I never relied on anything else, that did obviously that did come to bite me after a while, and I obviously managed it. Now it's all sorted, but because I did not do that, I was able to focus completely on my craft.
Okay.
I was able
Okay.
to completely focus on my craft, and I was able to like hone my skills as an actor. Because वो एक blinders लगाकर चलने वाली बात हो जाती है कि this is what I'm doing and this is what I want to do. But at the
Hmm.
same time यही जो बात है ना कि आपका करियर, आपके पैसे कितने आ रहे हैं, ये these things are the ones which kept on giving me doubts and everything
Hmm.
over and over again. And I still think, if I reflect on it, कि if I had जिस तरह की clarity अब मेरे अंदर है about my craft and this is what I want to do, if I had this 10 years ago, like मेरे craft का level would have been entirely different. Like
Hmm.
I might have been able to cut down my journey by 4 or 5 years. Now that I
Hmm.
understand it, अब अभी भी ऐसा नहीं कि I'm late. I'm
Hmm.
28, 29. So
Hmm.
अभी भी अगर मैं if I'm doing it right now, so सोचो मैं 5 साल बाद ये बात समझी होती मैंने कि आई नीड टू
Hmm.
फोकस ऑन वन थिंग, दिस वन थिंग, एक्टिंग, जो मेरी जिसमें मेरे को टैलेंट है, मेरा एप्टीट्यूड है, एंड आई
Hmm.
लव इट एज वेल, वो
Hmm.
5 साल और मेरे लेट हो जाते. सो देयर बोथ
Exactly.
थिंग्स कि एक तो है कि प्रैक्टिकलिटी होना जरूरी है, बट एट द सेम टाइम बिकॉज ऐसा हुआ तो उसका साइड इफेक्ट में इट हैज बीन पॉजिटिव एज वेल. So
Hmm.
somewhere, because you can't act all day, you can't have 24 hours a day where you're just
Hmm.
doing one thing, whether you're a musician
Exactly.
or a dancer or everything. So obviously, your balance easy hai, because you can, let's say, you can work on your craft for 6 to 7 hours, but then you go and do something else, whether it's a
Something.
business, whether it's a job, or whatever it is. So you can
Hmm.
always follow that way.
Yeah, I would like to add my learnings. So basically, being elder to you, I would say, in retrospect, everything makes sense, right? Like you
Hmm.
said, कि वो 5 साल नहीं होते तो ये नहीं होता, but वो हुए तो ये भी हो गया. So it's like if you
Yeah,
retrospect your journey, everything makes sense one day or other. So I think दोनों ही
yeah,
aspects are like equally important. So what you said is like
absolutely.
makes sense to you. So how, like, when I think I read something which you wrote about creators and something like that on your one liner. I need to open my phone and read that again. But how did you come to
On my Instagram
YouTube then?
bio.
Yeah. I think that time I
Oh yeah, yeah.
remembered
I
it.
think I'd removed it after a while. I
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
my
yeah.
bio recently.
Yeah.
But it was something like कि
Hmm.
I'm a
कुछ लिखा हुआ था
classically
ना?
trained actor first and
Not
then a
the
creator, something to that
and not
effect.
the other way around,
कि
which kind of was
not the other way around, right?
कैची उस
Yeah.
टाइम के लिए. आई थॉट टू कि मैं इसके बारे में पूछने वाली हूँ पॉडकास्ट में, बट मैं देन लेटर यू रिमूव दैट लाइन एंड आई वाज नॉट एबल टू
Hmm.
रिसर्च. बट देन
I'll have to
हाँ
yeah,
गो
yeah, I'll
अहेड.
have to check and put it again. If it's catchy, I'll put it
It
again.
was
Yeah.
catchy, but I don't know. It was my opinion. Not
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
might
no
need to
problem.
find it catchy. But the point is
Uh,
कि मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, when did you then like opted for YouTube, and how was like that thing came to your mind that I now want to do this or whatever
so,
now
so,
you are doing apart from your
हाँ, जब
craft?
म्यूजिक
Hmm.
राइट, सो म्यूजिकली था. एक एवरेज लेटर बिकेम
हाँ.
टिकटॉक.
Yeah.
सो आई स्टार्टेड क्रिएटिंग वीडियोस देयर एंड इट वाज गोइंग वेल. 4-5 लाख फॉलोअर्स थे उस पे. एंड आई थिंक 2020 जून में बंद हुआ था, जून 6 और 20, आई डोंट नो.
Yeah.
आई थिंक जून 6 2020 आई
Yeah.
उस टाइम में बंद हुआ था. सो आफ्टर, आई थिंक वो मेरा एनीवे, आई वाज लाइक मैं फ्लीट अवे कर रहा था फ्रॉम क्रिएटिंग कंटेंट. आई गॉट फेड अप because algorithm was certainly pushing certain type of content, and I wasn't really in favor of it. But now I have a very different perspective, and I understand ki, you need to feed the beast, and you have to do what's trending and this and that, and I understand all those things. So book
Mm-hmm.
creation and all those things came very naturally because I've always had a funny bone, and I've always been able to make comedy out of situations. So I was primarily creating comedy content there, and it worked. And when something works, it gives you incentive to create more and more, and
Mm-hmm.
that did. But Instagram pe, I never consistently created something, and now I'm looking forward to doing that. Now I'm looking forward to creating more of those, more of reels and more of shorts, YouTube shorts and everything. But that has always been there, and obviously it's a part of, now it's a very crucial part of any business. And acting is, if nothing else, it's a business first of all.
Hmm.
The
True.
craft part is there, but it's also like to be able to understand how to navigate the industry and what kind of
Hmm.
numbers play into it and what business it is. So uske hisab se dekha bhi jaye to then marketing yourself because you are the own product, that is also there. So create not creating content is out of question at this.
Hmm. Yeah, but मैंने lately तापसी का एक interview सुना था and she said very right thing that for being a star you need to be not that accessible. Yeah, but being an actor you can
Hmm.
be. That's fine thing. But that's why we are having lesser stars and maybe Shah Rukh Khan is the
Hmm.
last star we have ever
No,
seen
no, just
because
wait.
after that
Just wait a few years. Just wait a few years, I'm coming around.
that's good. All good energies for that, no
No,
doubt.
no, no.
But
With all the humbleness, this is something I've learned from Shah Rukh Khan. So all hats off to him. This is how he, because I learned this one very simple thing from him. Yeah, to first of all, you need to tell yourself no, that you're the best, that you will be able to make it. So
yeah, yeah,
I tell
yeah.
myself very all the time, ki,
I'm the best.
I know, I have seen that interview 1,000 times where he
Hmm.
said, ki I'm last biggest, last of the stars. I think he said it in a very smart way. Ki he seeded in everyone, ki no one else can be a star after me.
Charm me.
So I don't
Hmm.
think that's true. I'm just saying, just wait a few years,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
come
yeah.
around,
All the
hoga.
very best energy. But the only thing which I liked her and we can agree to disagree, जो
Yeah.
मुझे उसका point अच्छा लगा, जो कि बहुत valid था, that everybody else is easily accessible and he's still not. Right? He's still
Who?
not
Shah Rukh
that
Khan.
accessible in the sense of like not putting outside there in the social media that much, like coming on
He can
reels on
afford
the.
to, yeah. So
He,
I
yeah, he can't
jokes apart
afford
from all
to.
this, but
Yeah.
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 So, but I think when it comes to actors creating content, now it
Hmm.
will be right now. It will be very personal choice. If you've already made it into lead, if you've already
Yeah. Got your point.
so
Hmm.
ये लोग content बना रहे हैं आपके लिए. All
Hmm.
that is already going out. So they are
Okay.
content creators, but it's just that they're not doing it directly.
Hmm.
So their teams, जो dedicated teams है, PR and marketing teams and all
Hmm.
these things, they are doing it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
why do you think it's a coincidence that people show up at Kapil Sharma's show whenever there's movie
Uh,
coming around?
yeah, yeah.
It's a marketing exercise.
Marketing.
That's content. Just because we are
Hmm.
seeing it on television or we are seeing
Hmm.
it on OTT does not make it. It's not content. Right now, we
Hmm.
might be treating influencers as people who, who are creating content and everything else is media.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
think it's high time, and I've understood this very clearly. Ki
Hmm.
now there is hardly any difference.
Hmm.
Now there is hardly
Hmm.
any difference in the sense
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
attention that it's getting.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
influencers are also getting attention. The film stars and actors are also
Okay,
getting attention. They're
exactly.
two different. They're two different approaches, and
Exactly.
obviously the
Hmm.
OTT, the films will be far more refined as storytelling.
Hmm.
You can tell a better arc or a better story in a much larger chunk of time. So 2 hours can give you more liberty to tell the same story
Hmm.
as opposed to something being told in 15 seconds.
Hmm.
I can tell a very simple story कि कि मुझे तुमसे बहुत प्यार है, ये एक लाइन में बोल देना, और
Hmm.
यही चीज को मैं 2 घंटे में दिखाऊं कि हम कहाँ मिले, कैसे
Hmm.
मिले, हम व्हाई डू वी लाइक ईच अदर, एंड देन एट द एंड वी आर सेइंग आई लव यू एंड देयर इज अ ऑब्स्टिकल
Hmm.
टू इट जिसको हमने
Obstacle.
फाइट किया. So
True.
it becomes interesting, and you're
Hmm.
sitting yourself down in a film, in a theater to watch that story. You're not getting out of it. Instagram pe we are scrolling through it,
Huh.
and that is the difference right now. So,
Hmm.
but obviously, I'm nowhere. I'm equating the two. I'm not saying ki
Yeah.
ki it's the same thing. That is not the same thing. And obviously, the stars and the more stature and more credibility comes from being part of films and OTT and all these things. And I'm all for it. And that is what I
Hmm.
wrote on my Instagram as
Yeah.
well. Ki I'm a trained actor first. I'm an actor, bracket में classically trained, and then I'm a creator,
Theater.
because I know this for a fact right now कि every creator, उनके लिए next step क्या है? They want to get into
We
films, they want
do.
to get into
True.
OTT,
And
because I understand the need of it,
need of
and I
it.
also enjoy creating it. I also like telling story or just
Telling
fun way of
stories.
giving information or whatever it is.
हम्म बेसिकली ये तो मुझे भी लगता है आई थिंक वी हैव मेड कंटेंट वेरी कंटेंट बोल बोल के बहुत वो कर दिया है आई थिंक
Yeah.
इट शुड बी स्टोरीज एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड जर्नीज रेदर देन जस्ट कंटेंट सो मतलब कंटेंट एक बहुत बड़ा एक बड़ी टर्म है जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे सब ग्रुप्स हैं एंड दैट आर स्टोरीज एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड जर्नीज एंड ऑब्वियसली वी
हाँ,
ऑल आर
बट आई
डूइंग
थिंक
दैट
ये स्टोरीज भी ना, सब लोग तो स्टोरीज बताते नहीं है ना.
हाँ
चक्कर ये भी है ना, कई लोग
हाँ
जैसे लाइक
हाँ
कई लोग मे बी लाइक देयर इज अ सर्टेन डिफरेंट टीयर के जो ग्रुप्स हैं, डिफरेंट ऑडियंसेस व्हिच आर बीइंग टारगेटेड विद डिफरेंट कंटेंट. हर
content.
कंटेंट अच्छा नहीं है, वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट, एंड
Exactly.
अगर हम क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर सकते देन वील नेवर इंप्रूव. अगर मैं कहूँ कि
Exactly.
सब अच्छे एक्टर हैं,
No.
सब अच्छे
Mm.
लोग हैं, एवरीवन विल गेट अ पार्टिसिपेटिंग सर्टिफिकेट, तो दैट डजंट वर्क.
Mm.
अगर हमें
True.
लाइक इफ यू वांट टू लाइक see the whole
Mm.
economy, our country grow, we have to be able to say कि this is not working and that is working.
Not
So
working
at the
right.
same time, I'd say कि the stark difference between content and stark difference between content and acting in films is
Mm.
basically the hours spent to create that craft. I have
Mm.
spent those 13, 14 years, and the way I'll act and the way, let's say, for example, I'm not obviously no names here,
Mm.
a very realistic comparison would be an influencer coming out and them acting. You'll be able to see that difference very clearly. There'll be
Exactly.
nuances, there'll be certain behavior in the way I'm working. There'll be certain, not just on the set as a professional, but also especially in the craft when I'm taking up a script.
Mm.
अगर मैं कोई स्क्रिप्ट उठा रहा हूं, तो
Mm.
मुझे पता है कि हाउ डू आई हैव टू ब्रेक इट डाउन, हाउ डू आई
Mm.
हैव टू क्रिएट अ लाइफ आउट ऑफ इट, एंड हाउ
Mm.
डू आई हैव टू रिप्रेजेंट इट एंड प्रेजेंट इट ट्रूथफुली. क्योंकि
Mm.
पता क्या है कि मेरा मेरा मोटिव क्या है पूरे काम करने का, जिंदा रहने का आज की डेट में, विच आई कैन टेल वेरी पैशनेटली, ट्रूथफुली एंड विद माई सोल, अपने दिल पे हाथ रखे. आई वॉन्ट टू टेल स्टोरीज एज ट्रूथफुली एज पॉसिबल.
Mm.
मैं चाहता हूं कि
Amazing.
मैं
Amazing.
अपने दिल से सच्चाई बता सकूं किसी भी किरदार की जिसकी आवाज लोगों तक पहुंचनी जरूरी है.
Amazing.
Yes, I can do the same as a creator, but that is a personal choice. Now,
Choice.
let me just reverse that ball and say कि a certain influencer is also telling a story. They might have more follower and attention because of whatever number of reasons. But at the same time, put them in front of a camera, and producers do that because they have a certain number of attention कि उनके इतने followers हैं, which is a very practical decision, which is a very sound business decision. I don't think I'm against it. I understand that decision because I understand certain aspects of the business कि उनको भी जरूरत है उस audience की. But then they are compromising on that storytelling. They're compromising on that truth. कि
Mm.
अगर आपकी writing अच्छी भी है, you put a an actor who's not fully into it, or who doesn't know how to tell that story. You are basically, आपने 6 महीने मेहनत करी, साल भर मेहनत करी उस स्टोरी को लिखने की, and then you're killing it. Instead, if you take an actor who knows how to tell that story, whether trained or not, I know this one actress friend of mine who's not really trained, but she is amazing at what she does. Content में
So,
it's very different. Like
hmm,
there's no sort
हाँ,
of comparison, or there's not, मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा
there
नहीं कि एक चीज अच्छी है बुरी है.
exactly. But what you are saying, I got it. When you have the tools, you can improve it. You can always make it better.
Yeah,
And you have obviously यार जो जिसने पढ़ाई करी है उसको थोड़ा तो अब एमबीए वाला obviously business कोई भी कर
obviously there's
सकता
some
है.
benefit
But
to
there
it.
is
Yeah,
some
there's
degree and there
definitely.
is some education to it. You
Mhm.
can do it slightly better than other people, and you know obviously deeper things, right? So like Ranbir has actually taken acting school, I think. So
Mhm.
उसकी
Lee
एक्टिंग में
Strasberg.
या
Yeah.
एक्टिंग में इट्स विजिबल. ट्रू 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 एग्री. सो हाँ, ये
Mhm.
तो हमने कर ली फिर कंटेंट क्रिएटर एंड एक्टिंग एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. तो अब बताओ, हाउ वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ ओटीटी, लाइक ब्रीथ इनटू द शैडोज, तांडव, हाउ वाज दैट एक्सपीरियंस?
Fantastic, यार. I mean, because uh, since जैसे मैंने बताया कि मैं स्कूल से कर रहा था, आई वाज डूइंग थिएटर, सो ऑब्वियसली यू इमेजिन कि यार मैं सेट पे हूंगा तो कैसा होगा, विल आई एवर गेट अ चांस टू डू दिस. बट आई समहाउ आई नेवर हैड दिस कि मैं कभी पहुंचूंगा. आई वाज ऑलवेज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ कि मैं कब पहुंचूंगा. आई न्यू कि मैं आई विल बी ऑन सेट्स एंड आई विल बी वर्किंग. So just being on that set, it was just fantastic. I could not wait to just, automatically body started getting so punctual बिकॉज अंदर से एक ड्राइव है, अंदर से आ रहा है कि यार हाँ टाइम पे पहुंचना है. आई डोंट वांट टू बी लेट फॉर दिस. एंड तांडव वाज आल्सो नाइस. इट वाज अ बिगर सेट.
अच्छा.
इंटरेस्टिंगली दोनों ही नॉर्थ कैंपस में शूट हुए थे. इट वाज लाइक आई वाज गोइंग बैक टू कॉलेज, वाज गोइंग
अच्छा.
बैक होम. हाँ, so Breathe was shot in Kirodimal, and
अच्छा.
Tandav was shot in Hansraj. So I was the
वाओ.
first of my batch to go back to college to shoot. We always had this bet amongst ourselves
या.
in the theatre society कि कौन वापस आके shoot करेगा. So
हाँ.
जिस दिन पहले दिन
अमेजिंग.
शॉट पे थे, आई कॉल्ड एवरीवन वीडियो कॉल. लो पहुंच गए. सो या इट्स
That is
फन.
amazing.
या
Amazing.
जोक पार्ट. या
Good, 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 good. So, like, what next? Like, what are your plans? आगे अभी क्या सोचा है, क्या करना है? और obviously acting तो करनी है, that I know, but anything you want to share कि कुछ है mind में कि ये करना है? This is something which I want to do for sure as a bucket list.
I'm writing some things. I want to start, like, obviously, being an actor is in itself a very occupying job. Any good actor in the world puts in the work, and they put in work wherever and how much ever it's required. There is no
Mm.
resume to acting. I can't go and say कि मैंने फलान फलान जगह से acting सीखी and that is what is getting me work. It doesn't work like that.
No,
आपका
true.
audition लिया जाता है.
Mm.
Whether you have learned it from anywhere or not does not matter. Whether you have gone to Barry John Institute, whether you've gone to Anupam Kher's Institute, whether you've gone to NSG, it does not matter as long as you are performing. So, Mary mostly training, it always has been self training. It always has been on
Mm.
the stage. It has
So,
always been very practical as an
mm.
actor.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
So,
Yeah.
what is now your message to the any upcoming actors or your peers, maybe who are in the same boat as yours? What is your, I mean,
My peers know everything because they're already, like, doing it, and they already know, so they don't know, they don't need to. And every actor has this certain arrogance. Obviously,
Mhm.
some of us don't, but
Huh.
most of the many actors have this arrogance, as any person in any limelight of a industry or limelight of a business, that they know everything, which
Mm.
is okay. I think it's a very eccentric job at times, which is okay
Mm.
because it can be very nauseatingly eccentric,
थोड़ा सा
and it is that way.
नार्सिज्म
You can't.
थोड़ा सा नार्सिज्म
हाँ,
is
थोड़ा
like
सा
this
नार्सिज्म
job
होता है लोगों में,
required.
but
हाँ.
I, yeah, as like I make it a point to remind myself to learn from everyone. I used to, abhi recently in October I conducted acting workshop for
Mm.
freshers,
Mm.
and even there I was trying to understand कि maybe someone is bringing something to the table which I don't know.
Mm.
And you were also asking अभी इससे पीछे वाले question में, what is new for me? I'm
Mm.
actually started a venture of mine, which is basically I'm trying to bring the best of India, the best products available in India in one place. Not just like कि Amazon पे हमने search कर लिया, but just the best quality. Like this jacket is, which I'm wearing. If anyone is watching on a video, but it's probably audio,
Mm.
is there. So it's mostly right now focused on clothes, but there'll be other things as well. So it's
Wow.
vastr.co, vastr.co, and you can, like, that's one of the things that
Wow.
is which is next for me, which is happening. Direction is also there, but that is also there.
So
But to
entrepreneur,
the
come actor, come director, come everything. That's
Yeah, so why it circles back to that. Now I was telling you earlier that you have to have certain something,
yeah.
but I don't think I can give any advice to my peers. They're already doing really well, and they
Uh-huh.
don't need any such advice. But to the people who are starting out or who would want to learn, perhaps, I think what I would like to say is ki do not go to Bombay just thinking ki, like, you'll walk out of Bombay Central or you'll walk out of Chhatrapati Shivaji Airport, and Karan Johar will be there holding a plaque. We were waiting for you to join our films.
Mm.
There are about 1 million people there to replace you, and that is a fact. It's not an exaggeration. There are 1 million people to replace you, and everyone is replaceable. And it takes a second for everyone to shun you, and it takes a second for everyone to start loving you.
Mm.
So you need to understand where do you stand in all of this. So you need to love yourself. You need to understand you cannot go there without having a hold on your craft, without having an understanding of your craft, and that goes across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a goal is also important. So वही बात आ गई कि if you're coming, then you need to be very prepared. It's a
Mm.
cutthroat competition. It's
Mm.
नहीं बख्शा जाता है यहाँ पे.
Mm.
And this goes for even people who are coming from the industry, whether you're a star kid or not.
Mm.
If they're not good at what they're doing, they will
Mm.
not be accepted. And that is something we have seen across the last many decades. There's so many names to it. At the same time, obviously, there is a certain advantage to it, but that is a very different discussion altogether.
Mm. Got it. So great to talk to you, Samit. मतलब बहुत ही deep insights I got, and great to talk to you. And thank you for saying yes for the podcast, first of all. I'm not
It's a
sure,
pleasure, yeah.
yeah, uh, when is it's releasing, because I'm currently in my recording phase, and to the listeners as well. So yeah, in
Mhm.
upcoming few weeks for sure, it's on the
Yeah.
list. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights. I hope you all get all the good work and get succeeded in
Mhm.
whatever you are doing, be it direction, writing, entrepreneurship, or being acting for sure.
Content creator,
Content creator,
acting,
YouTube,
writing,
whatever.
direction.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
everyone should be everything. Like we are here, we can explore as much as possible and see what we are
mm.
capable of, and no harm in learning, right? So For
Coming
sure.
back to the Instagram bio, I'm an actor, classically trained, and and a content creator, not the other way around.
Not the other way around. Exactly. Now that was the line. That is what I read, and that was catchy. So yeah. So podcast. I mean, it started. The story started from that line basically when I researched,
Yeah,
and it will be ending with that. So thank you so much, Samit, and thanks everyone to listening to us. Thank you so much. Stay happy, stay blessed, and most importantly, stay grateful. I will see another one. Bye.
and all the best to you as well for your podcast,
Thank you.
and for your series that you're doing. This is season 4 of your podcast.
Yeah, this is season 4 of my podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. Just all the best to you. I hope you have 40 more seasons and you keep creating and you
Yeah,
keep
thank you.
doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for having me here.
Thank you so much.